Hello. Looks like I'm in quail business here. Not exactly, but I have started with some Coturnix quail. So I'm going to show you a little bit of things about the cage. Most of my talking is going to be in, oh, they're freaked out. Most of my talking is going to be inside because I have it right next to the sliding glass window of my bedroom right here. So I'll do most of my talking right there, but I'll show you some things outside here as well when we're in here. As you can see, there is a homemade feeder that works pretty good. They got a sandbox. They've got some drinkers over there, which I'll show. I threw in some kaya leaves and some moringa leaves also for them to chew on, which they do eat. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, here's a side view. So I called this a ghetto setup because it certainly looks like that right now. It is designed to sit on 2 trash cans, but the other trash cans are barriers to keep the dogs away, which I assume they would have a lot of interest in the birds, but they've got a little too much interest. They're kind of banging it around, and it's really in there real solid, but it's just too much banging around, and it knocks the water around and empties the bottles faster than I would like, although it's not a big deal. But if I go away, or if I'm away for the day, I just don't want the dogs, since they have a doggy door and usually come out here whenever, I just don't want to have to worry about them because they've been sometimes trying to jump up on stuff. So I'm going to have a wire mesh little fence built around here, which I've got on order coming in, and then that will go around. Then I can remove these extra trash cans around it. So that's the goal here. Okay, so let's just go around and take a look. Okay, so on the top we have this tarp. So this tarp is 2-sided. It's got this side, the regular like green type of tarp material. I turned it around because it does have this mylar shield, and I'm pretty sure it's reducing the heat because we're in the South Florida sun, because it's reflecting the heat off. So I switched it around, and from what I've noticed, the birds are panting less with this turned around, and it does keep the rain off them also. Okay, so we got some, I just have a few gaps in here just for air circulation, as you can see, but it's pretty fully covered up and protecting the sandbox from getting sand in it. Now the way this is designed to work, they're sitting on 2 big trash cans. That's where most of the poop goes. I have some holes on the side. These used to be used as water barrels, so that's why I have them there. And I'm able to just stuff leaves, grass, pine needles, whatever in there. Should stay dry to reduce the smell. So I've got that on both trash cans, and then around the other edges I've got other containers to catch any extra poop that comes out. It hasn't been too big of a deal so far. The smell really isn't that bad. I do have fly paper up, and a lot of the flies are coming from this extra trash can which I have to keep the dogs away. There's poop getting in there and it gets wet because it's not under cover. That's what's attracting most of the flies, from what I can tell. So fly paper is keeping them under control because the smell really isn't that bad at all. And that was one of my concerns. So this is designed to be reusable so that I can make compost in here. The birds do it themselves. It's probably going to be dry, so when it gets full, the trash cans, I'll empty them out, put it into another compost bin where it can get wet and break down a lot faster, because it's not going to break down that fast in there if it's dry. And I just have bungee cords holding on the tarp. Got bungee cords holding the door shut instead of what came with this cage. So I'll talk a little bit about the cage in a separate segment if I haven't already. Okay, so now I'm in the bedroom looking out. And that's part of the reason I wanted it here, that so I could comfortably observe the birds and check on things when it's raining or it's stormy without having to be out there, because, you know, it's the summer, it's very uncomfortable. And this was actually a good spot too. It gets partial protection from the house, from the eaves of the house, but it's not too close to the pool or other things, because we don't normally open this sliding glass door anyway. So that's why it's located here. Okay, so why did I get these Coturnix quail? It's really about self-sufficiency. That was one thing I don't really have going on, is a meat source that I'm totally in control of. And so this is primarily for eggs, although if I grow out some eggs and create other Coturnixes, I will need a second cage, which I'm definitely planning on doing if this goes okay. But it's mainly for eggs. Egg production. Now, I'm not really going to be saving any money on eggs in the short run. I mean, I can get a dozen chicken eggs from Aldi's for 58 cents right now. So if anything, I don't even know if I'll break even on eggs, even them making eggs for me. Because there's right now there's 6 females, 6 hens, and 1 rooster. And you know, that's going to be about 5 or 6 eggs a day once they start laying. And it takes about, these are jumbo Coturnix quail, so it takes about 3 of these eggs should be to make 1 chicken egg. So we'll still have to buy chicken eggs until we get more quail. And even when I have enough to say that I can get, you know, 10, 12 eggs a day, the amount of money I pay to feed them probably won't even break even. So what I need to do is definitely get a second cage and be able to produce enough eggs to sell occasionally. You know, not a lot, but sell some eggs occasionally, or sell some young birds occasionally if I incubate eggs and brood them, to pay for the food. The bags of food I got are from the only place I found around here was Tractor Supply, and they had a 24% protein feed for about 17 something, so 1750, 1780, like that. So to break even, I'm definitely going to need to sell some eggs or some young birds, you know, a few times a month, I would say, to pay for the feed. And I can even make a little money if I get probably 2 males, maybe 10 females in this cage, which I think I can definitely fit. This is a pretty roomy cage. It's a 2 by 4 foot. And then I have a grow out cage the same size, where maybe I have some extra females laying eggs, maybe 4 or 5 extra females, have it divided up, and then have an area for raising younger chicks and selling them. You know, and the ones I can't sell can certainly eat, can butcher and eat. But I don't think I'm going to be able to have enough where I'm eating a lot of quail. It'll be something occasional is probably what's going to happen. Okay, they're all kind of hanging out in the sandbox right now. Alright, so as far as the cage, where did I get the cage? This is actually rabbit hutch that I got off of eBay. I think it was like $26, $27, including shipping, for each half. This is 2 2x2s put together. And I got this, it's a 3-sided cage. So you know, you order 2 cages, and that will make, you put them together, and then you'll have 4 sides if you order 2 3-sided 2 foot by 2 foot cages. So this is then a 2 foot by a 4 foot. I like that the roof was a little bit sloped, because I knew I was going to put a tarp on this, and I thought that would be good, just sloping to help with the rain. Water draining off would be easier. Pretty easy to put together. It was just shipped, and you know, just follow the directions, put it together. And of course the poop falls through the floor, the wire cage, and you know, as I showed you out there earlier, that seems to be working okay. It's definitely a strong cage. My dogs have tried to get in there, and they couldn't budge it, couldn't get in. But again, as I said, they are kind of rattling it a little bit, and that causes the water bottles, a little water to dribble out, and it uses up some of the water. So that's why I am going to fence this area, this corner of my yard off, so the dogs can't shake and rattle the cage. But it's not going anywhere. There's been high winds going through here, and it's not going anywhere at all. Okay, so let's talk about what's holding it on. Now you'll notice that there are shepherd's hooks. You'll see the shepherd hooks are pushed through the handles of the trash cans, and then I have a couple pieces of rope tied from the cage onto the shepherd's hook just to hold it, and that really holds it well. So That's holding it tight. It's not budging. It's not moving. So I'm not really too concerned unless the hurricane conditions come up, which case I'm going to have to either bring the birds, the cages inside, you know, in one of the spare rooms, or I do have a little alcove near the front door that's pretty well protected where I keep bikes now. They could go there. So I'll have to, you know, I'll do definitely an update in another month or so of how things are going, if this plan is working. Okay, so some of my biggest goals for this setup was to have an easy way to dispose of the bird poop where it could easily be recycled into compost, and for it not to be smelly and stinky and not have tons of flies all over the place. Now, so far this is working. Like I said, it doesn't really smell that bad unless you get right next to the cage. Yeah, you can smell a little bit, but it's really not that strong at all. There are flies around, and as you can see, I've got fly paper around. There's one you can't even see that's full of flies, and that's really controlled them. I had the fly paper anyway because I put some in our trash can, because in the summer when it's hot here, there's just flies are just crazy. And the more flies I control that way, the less get in the house, so I have very few get inside the house. So the fly paper is definitely kept under control. Flies aren't a big issue. You know, there's always a few, but not many. So it's not really an issue. So, you know, we'll see how this works out. They haven't started laying eggs yet. These birds are, I bought them. Well, let's talk about how I bought them and purchased them. Okay, so these birds are about 4.5 to 5 weeks old. I've had them for about a week now, and I found them on Craigslist. I had to drive about an hour and 20 minutes away to get them, but it was a very easy transaction. It was real easy. So they're supposed to be jumbo Coturnix quail. I say supposed to because I didn't get them from a licensed, you know, bird breeder. I did call a couple that were even farther away. They really were bad about getting back to me. I only got one call back, one text back, and he was very general, and then he wouldn't reply again. So I know people are busy, but that was kind of a pain. So I just decided to try Craigslist, and I'm very happy with the guy I got them from. These things have pretty doubled in size or more since I got them a week ago. So it's been going really pretty well. The birds seem happy in there, plenty of room. Like I said, ultimately I'll probably get 10 females and 2 males in there. And I might have 4 or 5 females in a second cage when I get that going, just to get some extra egg production and have extra room to have it divided off to as a grow out cage for chicks. Okay, so that's where we are right now. Hope you found this interesting, and I'll give an update another week, another month or so, and let you know how things are going, and if I make any changes to the setup here. You definitely will see a lot of these trash cans gone by then. I should have my fence up, and that should make things look a little nicer, but so far this has been very functional. It's working very well, even though it looks a little ghetto. Alright, so if you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to support the channel, there's some Amazon links and my eBay storefront page in the description box below. I've got some seeds and cuttings and stuff in my eBay store. So if you're interested, take a look at that. Okay, we'll see you later.